Okay, so in this video, I'm going to do a brief overview of the syllabus, story of the New Testament for this semester. And you'll, of course, find this syllabus in Blackboard. And you'll want to refer back to the syllabus several times as you're moving through the different materials in the course and the different assignments and the expectations that I have for students. So you'll see here not only my name, but also my office number in case you need to call me in my office. If you're calling me outside of my office hours, you can leave a voicemail, and I will, when I come into my office the next time, I can find that and then respond. But probably the most convenient way, most efficient way of contacting me is by email. And so there you see my email address. You also see the office hours that I have listed there. So if you are on campus and you want to swing by and chat with me about something, there are my office hours. What I have listed here is my virtual office hours. Are times when I am online and I am looking for information, and so I'll respond during that time. Or if you'd like to set up a meeting with me because of things that you are dealing with as you go through the course, and you just want to talk to me about things that you are hearing or trying to understand, we can set up a meeting either through Google Meet or through Zoom, and we can meet virtually during that time. I can also meet virtually if you need to during my office hours. So we just need to, you just need to let me know what's convenient for you. So in every syllabus, we always provide as well the OC's motto and our mission statement, and we provide these worldviews and teaching philosophies. You'll have the course description that is here, that's in our catalog, but also I would recommend that you look at the Welcome to the Story of the New Testament video, in which I go into more detail about what this course is doing and what students are going to be learning. There are no prerequisites for the course, though very oftentimes students who take this course have already taken a course in the Introduction to the Life of Christ or Introduction to the Life of the Early Church, but it is not required that you have taken this. All two students have taken Story of the Old Testament before they've taken Story of the New Testament. But it's not required that you have taken any of those to succeed in this course. Why this course is relevant is because anyone who wants to be able to speak or talk about what the New Testament is, kind of collectively, needs to have a basic understanding of how these books came about and what their major content is. And so by doing this, by reviewing this, you'll have a basic story, as it were, of God and the message of Christianity as being expressed by these authors. I list here as well the different objectives that students have. So, and I'll describe each of these here in just a little bit more detail. So students are going to be able to describe the content of the story of Christian faith that's held by New Testament authors. And this is primarily going to be done in an assignment called the New Testament Story Essay. You'll be able to identify or indicate your knowledge of the author, date, and occasions of each New Testament books by taking quizzes and by taking exams. You'll also be able to identify parts or the implication of the story of the Christian faith that is developed in each book, again through quizzes and exam, but also through class discussions. And these class discussions are carried out in our discussion boards and through Blackboard. And you'll also be able to describe then a story of the Christian faith that is historically connected to the story in the New Testament, and which you as a student think should guide Christian faith and practice today, whether you are a Christian or not. What you think if about the story that's represented in these books, and how it should impact what today Christians are claiming about the faith that they have. So anyway, those are some of the objectives. Again, we give you here kind of a rubric of the objectives, the assessment tools, and how they relate to OC's objectives. You are required to have a Bible translation, so any translation is acceptable. So you might have something like a New King James Version, or you might have the New International Version, or a New Revised Standard Version, or the English Standard Version. So whichever translation, English translation, you use or find helpful is fine. There is a textbook that's used here, and this is the book by Walter Elwell and Robert Yarbrough, Encountering the New Testament. So you'll see these requirements, how much discussion board participation is a huge aspect of this course as you learn and discuss with fellow students the things that you are hearing in the podcast and reading, and as you are processing that information. You'll have these quizzes, this exam, this New Testament story essay, and then the final exam. You'll also find here my grading scale. Notice that I will post your grades for at the 6 weeks level to give you a sense of how well you are doing, where you're at. You are going to need to have a computer, obviously, and access to the internet in order to succeed in the course. So let's talk about this discussion board. I want to, again, direct your attention to the Welcome to the Story of the New Testament podcast that I did, or a video that I did, and where I describe what you need to be doing in discussion boards. But here again, I describe this, and my requirement that you have a substantive response to the prompts or the questions that I ask each week, but also you're going to be making substantive responses to other students. So, typically what I mean by a substantive in terms of word count, I'm looking for somewhere around, 2, 3, 400 words in response to me. And then in response to other students, I'm looking for about 100, 200 words in response to others. So just try to give something that is substantive in nature. In other words, it really contributes to the conversation. It's not just kind of a glib, pat reply. I do expect that you'll have what we're calling netiquette, online etiquette. You are supposed to be making your expressions kindly, graciously, respectfully to one another. We will not tolerate people who are abusive to others in discussion boards, who say things that are offensive or inflammatory, or mean-spirited. So any of those things will not be tolerated. And if I see that, I will have to respond to you about it. You'll see the quizzes there. These are pretty straightforward. So there are 10 of these quizzes. And so you'll just take each one. And obviously you can have your book opened when you take them, but they are timed. So I encourage you to make sure that you have read the material first before you open up the quiz, rather than trying to open up a quiz and then hunting and pecking for answers to the quiz questions. You're more likely to succeed if you have read the material first and then take the quiz. The same here is with the exams. The exams as well can be open book, but again, and there'll be a study guide that you will have that you can prepare for before you take the exam. So I encourage you then to take a look at that study guide, complete it, and then when the exam becomes available, then you'll be able to take it and do well on it. So the New Testament story essay, there is a video as well about what I'm looking for in this essay. So here I'm just briefly describing what it is. It's a minimum of 3 pages. It shouldn't really be more than 5 pages. And you're basically describing what you see as the story that the authors of the New Testament are basically telling, and making some comments as well about how this story you think impacts or should form or guide what Christians today believe. So you shouldn't be in this essay quoting large chunks of scripture. I don't mind if there's a brief verse here and there, but primarily you can make reference to scriptures. I know I have a Bible and I can look at what you are referencing for myself, so I don't need to see large quotes presented in the essay. Try to write this as if you are giving it to someone who may be unfamiliar with the New Testament, and what guides that person to having a better understanding of the story, the basic story that is in it. So all this essay will be turned in through a Turn-It-In assignment in Blackboard later on in the semester. So I also have in the syllabus several course policies. I will try to respond to assignments quickly, usually within 2 weeks. I do accept late work, but I take off 5% for each day that is late, and anything that is more than 5 days late will not be accepted for any points. But this really doesn't apply to many things. You should be having your discussion boards done on time. Quizzes need to be done, by the end of each week. And the major thing where this would apply to is going to be that story of the New Testament essay. If you want to email me, you certainly can email me. I usually will try to respond within 24 hours to emails that I receive, and certainly during my virtual office hours, I try to respond. No assignment should be should be emailed to me. They all should be uploaded in Blackboard. If you do have a disability that is requiring extra time on an exam or quiz, please work through Katie Robel's office, and she will communicate with me that I need to make this time available to you, and that she has documented the disability that you have that allows for additional time. We have a policy on academic honesty and what that is. I do want to stress this about academic honesty. So there has been occasions where students have violated this in this course. Primarily, what they have done is they have copied and pasted material from others in their discussion boards. So if you read something that someone else has said and then you copy that and paste it into your discussion board, that is dishonest, because you're making it look as if this is yours when it's actually someone else. Or you maybe not you're copying and pasting, but you are seeing what someone else has written and you're basically writing the same thing. You're following the same script that they have written. You're making the exact same point that they have made with the exact same language. So anything like that is plagiarism. And so if I see that, then you will receive a 0 for that. If you copy something from some website in order to answer a question and you don't acknowledge that this material is coming from somebody else, that's plagiarism. And if I see that, then I'll mark a 0. So very oftentimes they become quite obvious that a student has taken something from someone else. And so you will not be allowed to remake that work. You will just receive a 0. So please do your own work here. This inclement weather policy doesn't really apply to this class since it's an online class. However, if you are taking this and you are somewhere where some kind of weather event impedes your ability to get online, in other words, you lose electricity, you lose internet access for days, then you need to let me know and I can make accommodations for that. But generally speaking, this is not really going to be an issue for this course. We do have help if you need help to succeed in the course, and so some numbers for tutoring or research. If you need that help, especially when you're writing that research, when you're doing that New Testament essay, I'm not requiring any bibliography for that, but if you just really want some extra help and decide to kind of go deeper and start using sources and you want some to do that, we do have our library staff is there to help. And if you have any technical problems getting into things in Blackboard, or you'll really need to, first of all, contact Support Central. Let Support Central that you're having some kind of difficulty accessing either the videos or Blackboard or the exams. Of course, we don't tolerate harassment or discrimination in our classes. And so if you feel like you have been a victim of some kind of harassment or a victim of discrimination, please let me know so that I can address it with the students, that I can address it with our administration so that they can take the appropriate actions to help students learn that certain actions and certain language does come across as harassment or as discriminatory. So help us to help them by notifying us when this occurs. You also see some information there about OC's counseling, if you need that, or you need to get in contact with the clinic for some reason, or you have some kind of spiritual questions and you want to talk to somebody else besides me. We do have Jeff McMillan, who is our Dean of Spiritual Life, and there is his number, and you can reach out to him and he'd be glad to help. Of course, the copyright policy is there. You can't take any of the material in this course and then dispense it to others without my permission. So what you'll also find in the syllabus, but you'll also find a separate document for this, is the class schedule. So in week 1, basically all you have to do is listen to the class introductions, the welcome to the story of the New Testament, this overview that you're listening to now, and the New Testament story essay assignment. So you become familiar with it. Pretty easy. Nothing really has to be done during this first week. Then in week 2, you will then listen to the Unit 1, where you're going to listen to Why Study the New Testament. You want to make sure you'll read the Encountering the New Testament Chapter 1 and take Quiz 1. Then in Unit 2, in week 3, you'll listen to that unit, take that, read that chapter, take the quiz, and so forth. And it follows this kind of pattern. So basically, all quizzes have to be done by the end of the day on Sunday of each week. So you can even do this work on the weekends if you want, or you can do it earlier. But the major thing that you'll need to be doing each week is these discussion boards. So each week there are discussion boards with each unit, and in each one you will want to make sure that you respond to my prompt by the end of the day on Thursday. Respond to the prompt by then, and then you can respond to 2 students' prompts by the end of the day on Sunday. So in the first couple of weeks, I'll send out reminders to people about what is due, and making sure that people do make these responses. But once we get past about week 3, I'll stop sending out those reminders, because then you should know that these things are due primarily each week. So follow the schedule. Each week, I'll be communicating with you to make sure that you stay on task. And if you have any problems, any issues, confusions about things, just simply email me, let me know. There's also in Blackboard a Q&A discussion board, and if you want to ask a question that you think is helpful for all the students, go in there, ask the question there, and then I can respond, and then everybody can see the response. So again, welcome to the course. Glad that you are in it, and if there's anything I can do to be of help to get you to where you need to go to this course, I'll be more than glad to do so. Thanks.